All right, class. Today we'll be talking about section 2 of the listening test. That is the section that comes right after section 1, which comprises of question number 11 to question number 20. All right. So that's what we're going to discuss today, and that's the section 2 of the listening test. Section 2 actually is quite I would say a little bit easy because it's just um only one person giving of a presentation or kind of a talk, just an everyday kind of talk that you may get from, um, let's say, anyone that you see maybe asking for direction or anything of the sort. Okay, so that's the kind of talk that you will hear, and it's coming from only one specific person. All right, and the best part over here is to use the break that you will get from your section 1 to read further and underline your keywords which will be presented within this kind of section. That's the section 2. So let's proceed and check it out. So as I said earlier, there's only one speaker, and the information that they talk about is mostly a non-academic topic. So tourism can be giving you directions, locations, just a mini presentation or a pep talk, okay, or just an orientation kind of thing. All right. So they can give all these in this section, and it's up to you, the candidate or the test taker, to determine the answers that they speak that are um, associated with the question that have been asked, right? And answers over here comes in order. So if you haven't heard of that of question number 11 or 12, you're not gonna hear for question number 13. And if you are hearing the answer for question number 13, it means question number 11 and 12, the answers has been said already. And with this, you can't rewind the audio. You just have to continue and go with the flow. All right. So what are the type of questions that um, are available here? So you get about three types. This is matching. There's also multiple choice, and there are a little bit of maps or diagrams that may come. Okay, and they will give you there will be labels in there, and you have to determine where what is per the description that the reader is giving out. So first of all, let's check out the matching. So on your right, you see a sample. Let me pick up my pen here. All right, so this is a sample of the writing, the matching, sorry. So the question says, which activity is offered at each of the following locations on the farm? Choose 6 answers from the box and write the correct letter A to H next to question number 15 to 20. All right. So this is question number 15 to 20, and the steps over here, the reader will be talking about this, that, that, and this. So this is the location on the farm, diary, and the kind of activity that actually happens over there. All right. Hope you get the point I'm making. Now, the instruction says we are picking these over here. Okay, these ones over here. The A to H, that's what we are picking. That's what we will put over here. So you don't come and write this whole shopping if you think the answer, or if you heard the shed is where you do shopping. You don't come and write the whole shopping there. Just choose, put A over there, and you are good to go. All right, very good. So now, how do you go about this? The main point is that the reader will be talking about these in order. All right. These are the things that are not in order. The one in the box over here, they are not, or they aren't in order. All right. So That's what you have to be very keen about. Now, most of the time, if you get these tags over here and the options that you have are just single words, it's quite easy to like read them, right? If you see shopping, like shopping is just one word. Okay, starting a trip, like it's quite easy to locate and decipher. Unlike these long ones. Okay, so I sometimes encourage my students to be keen about these, okay, especially the longer ones, so that you read and understand them. Because if they are um, speaking and you haven't taken cognizance of these long ones and their meaning, okay, you might paraphrase it and at the end of the day you cannot figure it out. All right, and it will be disadvantageous to you. All right, so the 30 seconds that you have been given to check out question number 15 to question number 20, ladies and gentlemen, is good enough for you to read everything in here. Okay, everything from A to H, you can read it. And trust me, in less than 30 seconds, we can read all these together. So let's go. So A is shopping, watching cows being milked, seeing old farming equipment, eating and drinking, starting a trip, seeing rare breeds of animals. So helping to look after animals using farming tools. Okay, so we have just read everything, just like that in less than 30 seconds. Okay, so as you read along, you highlight the most important. This one is old farming equipment. That's the most important. The most important stuff over here or keyword that you can choose here is cattle or cows being what milked. Okay, over here is the farm tools, animals, looking after them, rare breeds, and over here is what trip for eating and drinking and shopping. It's quite easy to identify. All right. So as the speaker starts and they start to speak, oh, at the diary, okay, because you have read all these, you are just waiting for them to just say one of these, okay, or a paraphrase version of one of these. So if they say that within the diary, they do milk cattle. Okay, here is watching cows being milked, and that's the scene that they are talking about. Probably they just paraphrased it. Okay, so if B is for diary, we just cross it out and write your B over here. Okay, now listen carefully for the next one. If they think that if what they are saying, the large band is where you will see old farming equipment, just strike it out and come and put C here. Okay, now you see small band. In the small band, that's where you see, let's say, rare breeds of animals. Just strike and write it. So as you cancel off these, you see the options kind of reduces. Likewise, we now have about um, three more to what to go. So it becomes very easy for you to pick out your answer going forward. So the rare key here is what? Your ability to read this whole thing and understand it within that 30 seconds window that you have been given. That's what will give you the edge over this kind of task. Okay, don't panic that you cannot read it within 30 seconds. Relax, you can do it. All right, and as you listen carefully and you pick out the answer, just cross them to reduce your strain, as in going back and forth to try and look at hey, I haven't looked at this way, I haven't looked at this way, that kind of thing. Because I picked the answer, you just slash it out. It reduces your options and increases your chances of getting the next question correct as the speaker speaks. Okay, so this is the matching and this is the approach for um, picking up the answers in there. All right. Now, let's look at the next one, mapping. So you may be given a diagram. It could be a map, it could be a diagram of anything, and there will be these kind of labels in there, A, B, C, D, that kind of thing. And this one is, you say label the map below. That's our task, and we are using letters A to I. Okay, and so with this, we are having to answer from question number 14, 15 up to what, 20. So that is 7 questions all over here. Okay, 7 questions all over here. Now, what will help us? And let me before I forget, let me accentuate on this that um, over here you get two type of questions. That's either a mapping question and multiple choice, or you get multiple choice and the other one, the first one that we talked about, that is the matching. Okay, you can get either of them, but you not get three, you get two out of them. So look, this one is the multiple choice. This is how you use, like, okay, we come to it later, but you can either get this and that. Okay, and if you are getting this and that, probably you may get three answers, three questions for multiple choice, maybe 7 questions for this matching, or 4 questions for multiple choice, 6 questions for the other one, or sometimes you can get even five there, five here, five there. Okay, so those question types that you've been given, you might get five out of it. Okay, five each. All right, now let's come back to the mapping. How do we go about the mapping? The first thing that will help you a lot in your mapping is this, your cardinal point. Next one that will help you the most is what? The names or the labels in there. Okay, this one is Station Road, this one is what? High Street, this one is what? School Road. So you know that all this is School Road because there's a school over here. Supermarket is also over here. All right, then we have chemist, another supermarket. So you have two supermarket, but one is on School Road, one is on what? High Street. So if they are describing and you don't take cognizance of these labels in there, you find yourself wanting. Okay, we have a chemist, we have a bank, and we have what? A library. All right. So those are the labels on the map. Now, the thing that we look out for is the keywords, and mostly they are the things that are over here. So within a question, so number 14, we're talking about what? A new traffic light. Okay, a pedestrian crossing. Where would that crossing be? Okay, so there's a parking allow. Where will you allow parking? New no parking sign. Where are we gonna put that no parking sign? And this one comes after that. Okay, so we now look at our north, south, east, and west. Okay, those are the cardinal points, and they will indicate, oh, west of the map, east of the map, north of the map, northeast of the map, southwest of the map. Okay, southeast of the map, of west of the map, to just help you identify which part of the map to what to look at. And for further details, you will know which probably road or label, okay, that you have to look and now identify that specific thing that they are asking from you. All right. Now, one relevant part is knowing where you are within the diagram. And this, the reader will give you your location. Okay. So we'll say, so starting here, let's say in front of the library. So if you know that it's in front of the library, you know where you are standing at. Okay, I'm over here, I'm at B. And probably we'll talk about, or maybe in front of the library, they are putting a no parking sign there. So you know that this is your answer. Okay. However, they are going to talk about the this one first before they will come over here. So let's say you are standing over here. on school road. Okay, and this one in the supermarket. And they are talking about the fact that you take down or take go along school road. On your first left turn, there will be what? A new traffic light. So school road, first left turn, there will be a new traffic light. That one shows that okay, the new traffic light is answer what? This answer over here. Let me clean it. Is it E? I guess so. The first answer is what? E. Okay. And probably they will say, okay, since this is the high street and there will be a lot of crossing between the chemist and that of the supermarket, they're gonna put what? A pedestrian crossing over there. You understand? Okay. So apart from the cardinal point, there are certain things that you have to be aware of. That's the descriptors of where and the position of labels to a specific um thing that you have to find. Okay, so let's say in front of, that's the chemist, in front of the chemist, in front of the library. Okay, now opposite the bank, you have opposite the school. Probably this is where they will put the pedestrian crossing, because you have to cross from this side to the school. Nobody knows. It's only when we are listening to the audio that we can what? Determine the actual thing that have been put where. All right. So those are the things that you have to know. Know the names of the things that have been labeled there. Those are your guides. And know your north, south, east, and west. And you're in front of, opposite of, adjacent of. Okay. And know your turns too. Okay. So if let's say you are standing over here and it says just um move up Station Road, your first right turn, there will be a traffic light. Who knows? Nobody knows. Probably that's why they are putting the traffic light to control traffic between High Street and that of what, the Station Road. All right, so that's how it is. You just go in there. You, whenever you hear your answer, follow suit from where you are standing. Go forth. So you get your answer. If you get your answer, cross it out and just write it over here. Okay, if it's A, you put the pedestrian crossway. So, okay, fine. Maybe a D is a pedestrian crossway. Just go ahead and write it over there. Parking. Maybe they have sent the parking to this side. Nobody knows. By the description, you will know, right? So you just go ahead and you'll be crossing them out, so that you know that you are not coming to look at these again. Okay. Your focus will be on the rest that left, so that you know how to answer them going forward. I hope I'm making sense, and if you can understand the point I'm making. It's very easy. Know your cardinal signs, where is like just has been labeled for you, the labels on the map, and just follow suit from where you are standing and follow the instruction or the reader as he or she gives the description. All right, let's check out the last type of question that you may get here. That is the multiple choice. The multiple choice comes in two parts. We have three answers, choose one, and five answers, choose two. Those are the type of multiple choice questions that you get. So on the far right of your screen, you can see the three answers, choose one. Okay, and in the middle over here, I think you can see question number 17 to 18. Question number 17 to question number 20, you have um, you have to choose two letters from A to E for these kind of questions. Now let's first look at these kind of the three options, choose one. One thing I encourage my students to do is first highlight your keywords within your question. So what does the question say? Okay, let's read the instruction first. It says answer the question, choose the correct answer A to C. So one of them, right? Now the question says many past owners made changes to. So there we'll be listening for past owners and changes to one of these. Is it a garden, farm? The reason why I like underlying the first and the last is that it gives me a little bit of contrast when it comes to my eye. Okay, I can underline these two. However, you see all of them have been underlined. If it's good for you that way, do it, because those are the keywords, and you'll be looking out for, or you'll be aiming and you'll be listening for what the changes was done to. If it is the farm per what the speaker will say, just go ahead and slash it. Farm, you move forward. Now we be listening next for what this person built this. So the reason for what building it, is it a place to discuss politics, a place to displace wealth, or for artists and writers? What it is, the speaker will definitely what talk about it. So you just sometimes you hear them giving contrary information, in a sense that they'll be talking about politics and all that. However, that will not be the reason. They will emphasize, and this place was built purposely, okay, giving out those words. Those are the clues that you know that, this is what they are looking out for, so I'm going for it. All right. So with these, the keywords are dependent on the question. All right. So you have to read the question. The time that you have been given, probably some 30 seconds. You have been given some 30 seconds to look through this. Okay. So visitors can learn about the work of the servant. Okay, from the past. In the past from. So we are looking for a location. Is it photographs? Is it costumes? Or is it audio guides? You get it? Now, of what is the name for children at this? Okay, then you just underline your keywords and listen carefully for them. So they're trying to ask for new things that are this specific place for what children. If it is, you think it's a mini tractor that they are saying, just go for it. If it's not a mini tractor but it's an adventure playground, you can just um, write or just choose your answer C in your answer section. Now let's look out for this kind of question. 5 options, you pick 2 out of it. Most definitely, you are going to get one of these, either in part 2, which the section 2 that we are discussing, or the section 3. Okay, section 2 and section 3 are quite related. The only difference is that section 3 is more of an it's an academic topic, and it's a discussion between two people. Nonetheless, you get a multiple choice question, okay, and it can be presented either this way: 5 answers, choose 2, or 3 answers, choose 1. Okay, you can get them, and you get those matching type of questions. However, it's quite challenging, or it's quite uncommon to get the maps in um, section 3. Okay, so section 2 over here, we have these multiple choice questions, and we have to just pick 2 answers out of it. Okay, now your keywords are dependent on the question. The question says, for which 2 reasons? So we'll be listening for reasons that the speaker say, okay, people give up Okay, going to the gym. So these are keywords. Okay, you're just listening for two things that the speaker will talk about. The reason, as in the reason why people do not go to the gym. Why? Is it because they are lacking time? Is it they lose confidence? Those are the keywords I'm underlying. Is it because it's at a higher cost? Is it because of cost? Okay. Or is it because they feel less successful than others? Or the last one being what? Too much effort is required. So the speaker will be talking about these. The speaker will be talking about all these. Okay. However, he or she will emphasize that the main reason, he might say, people think that they may lack time. However, which means he's giving off his own opinion. That is the reason from the speaker. Okay, so you only listen to the information that the speaker gives pertaining to his or her own understanding of the situation. That's where you pick your answers from. Okay, so don't be fooled when you see them kind of beating around the bush talking about some of these things. Okay, meanwhile, the main thing that they or the idea that they have, okay, might be presented later. So if you don't take care, you end up choosing things and you have to just get rid of them and go for a new one because you just heard what the speaker actually gave out as his or her own reason. Now, the same thing applies to this one. So, two pieces of advice, and this one too, the speaker gives on what setting out a goal. Okay, so goal setting, what does the speaker says? So, everything is coming directly from the speaker, and it should be the perspective of the speaker. That's what you pick. And as I said earlier, they will be beating out around the bush, talking about the other things which are part of the options, which aren't their main idea. Okay, however, they will be talking about it just to get you confused before they will now give off their own perspective on the issue, which is actually the correct answer. So I just want you to be mindful of it and you don't fall for their con. I mean, they're just trying to um, trick you to losing marks. So you don't fall for them, all right? So basically, that's it. And you'll go through a sample of this and you you end here for today. And you, all right, ladies. So and gentlemen, let me address you also. Welcome back once again, and we'll be taking a tour through how to go about answering section 2 kind of questions. That is question number 11 to 20. Over here, we have, excuse me, we have multiple choice. That is three options, pick one. And down here, 14 to 20, we have a map. Okay, we have a map which is about submit questions in here. And I'll play the audio and I'll be typing in the answers over here. So just learn lean back and watch how I get it done, and you can also practice using the same technique. All right. Okay, so let me pick up the audio. Where is my audio? Okay, that's the audio.
You will hear the chairman of the Highways Committee of Granford speaking to members of the public about proposed changes to traffic and parking in the area. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 13. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 13.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Phil Sutton, and I'm Chairman of the Highways Committee. We've called this meeting to inform members of the public about the new regulations for traffic and parking we're proposing for Granford. I'll start by summarising these changes before we open the meeting to questions. So, why do we need to make these changes to traffic systems in Granford? Well, we're very aware that traffic is becoming an increasing problem. It's been especially noticeable with the increase in heavy traffic while they've been building the new hospital. But it's the overall rise in the volume of traffic of all kinds that's concerning us. To date, there's not been any increase in traffic accidents, but that's not something we want to see happen, obviously. We recently carried out a survey of local residents, and their responses were interesting. People were very concerned about the lack of visibility on some roads due to cars parked along the sides of the roads. We'd expected complaints about the congestion near the school when parents are dropping off their children or picking them up. But this wasn't top of the list, and nor were noise and fumes from trucks and lorries, though they were mentioned by some people. We think these new traffic regulations would make a lot of difference, but we still have a long way to go. We've managed to keep our proposals within budget, just so they can be covered by the council. But of course it's no good introducing new regulations if we don't have a way of making sure that everyone obeys them. And that's an area we're still working on with the help of representatives from the police force.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 14 to 20. Listen and answer questions 14 to 20.
Okay, so this slide shows a map of the central area of Granford with the High Street in the middle and School Road on the right. Now, we already have a set of traffic lights in the High Street at the junction with Station Road, but we're planning to have another set at the other end at the School Road junction to regulate the flow of traffic along the High Street. We've decided we definitely need a pedestrian crossing. We considered putting this on School Road just outside the school, but in the end we decided that could lead to a lot of traffic congestion. So we decided to locate it on the High Street, crossing the road in front of the supermarket. That's a very busy area, so it should help things there. We are proposing some changes to parking. At present, parking isn't allowed on the High Street outside the library, but we're going to change that and allow parking there, but not at the other end of the High Street near School Road. There'll be a new no parking sign on School Road just by the entrance to the school, forbidding parking for 25 metres. This should improve visibility for drivers and pedestrians, especially on the bend just to the north of the school. As far as disabled drivers are concerned, at present they have parking outside the supermarket, but lorries also use those spaces, so we've got 2 new disabled parking spaces on the side road up towards the bank. It's not ideal, but probably better than the present arrangement. We also plan to widen the pavement on School Road. We think we can manage to get an extra half metre on the bend just before you get to the school, on the same side of the road. Finally, we've introduced new restrictions on loading and unloading for the supermarket, so lorries will only be allowed to stop there before 8 a.m. That's the supermarket on School Road. We kept to the existing arrangements with the High Street supermarket. Okay, so that's about it.
This is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we've gone from question number 11 to question number 20. And lo and behold, when we go to question number 16, the audio was a bit faster than me. And I know one of the answers is either A or B. The thing went on, so I have to go ahead and answer the rest of the questions. Okay, so if I get myself stuck over here,
Turn to section 3.
let me end this over here. Okay, so if I hadn't jumped to question number 17, it means 17, 18, 19, 20. I might get it wrong because I'm stuck on question number 16. Okay, now I have two options, whether A or B, to choose for myself. It could be correct, it could be wrong. Now I have a 50-50% chance of getting it right. Okay, so I'll just use my own discretion and pick one. Look at what I'm going to pick. And over here it said parking what allowed. So over here, where do you think you can allow parking? In front of the library or right at the corner here? Corner here cannot allow parking. Anyway, I don't know. And can you allow parking in front of the library? I guess so. So I'm going for B. If I get it wrong, fine. If I get it right, hooray. Okay. So that's one thing you can employ in order to help you not fixate on one specific question as the speaker is speaking. Okay. I'm very glad that like it happens this way, like to myself, so that you will know how to go about it when it happens to you.